Today on the Boot Guy, we're talking about the Carolina 7519, 400 grams of Thinsulate, GORE-TEX line, waterproof, logger. That's a big, tall 10-inch boot. Now this is the Vibram Tacoma logger sole, which is a wonderful single piece sole that lasts a really long time. You gotta remember, for a logger boot, most of the time out of the box, they're not flexible, but this thing has got a lot of flex and a lot of energy returned to it because of the Tacoma sole and the leather welt that's all the way around. As I mentioned before, it is GORE-TEX line, so it's 100% waterproof, guaranteed by the Gore company. Carolina also uses the GORE-TEX Axiom 4L lining, which, to make it sound a little bit better, is that they use their own special GORE-TEX liner on the inside so it doesn't wear out prematurely from rubbing and bumps and stuff like that. Most of the time when you have a GORE-TEX lined boot, and if you're driving or if you're working with some sort of piece of machinery or something, you kind of put a premature wear on the boot from leaning your foot left or right. Well, that new GORE-TEX liner really stops that from happening. It really takes abrasion and wear really well. Remember, the 7519 is steel toe, and that's really important when you're working with logger boots, with chainsaws and all that other stuff. You want to have steel there. Composite, well, you hit a composite toe with a chainsaw and it's cutting right in. At least with a piece of steel, it's got something to deflect the bar away from you. The leather that Carolina uses on this boot, they call a Cork harness leather. And it's tough. It is really tough. It is not only tough, it's really finished off really nice in all these little sections all the way through. Carolina does a really good job of just finishing this boot off. Every pair I ever touch always looks perfect, and they always have this just handsomeness to it that only a logger can have. As you can tell by the shape of that thing, you can see where that is really built to go around your calf and your ankle. The top is finished off real nice. As you see, it's got a nice little angle to it. Like I said before, this is a 10-inch logger, so it's going to feel and look a little bit taller than your normal logger. So now we get to the insulation. It has 400 grams of Thinsulate. And that doesn't really sound like a lot, but you got to think, with this leather and 400 grams and wool socks, and if you're really buying a logger to use for the purpose that a logger was intended, more than likely you know how to dress in the wintertime and the cold weather. So 400 grams is going to be perfect for you no matter where you're at working with a boot like this. Always Carolina sends along their AG7 footbed. And I've mentioned this before in other logger reviews, is that my guys usually remove the footbed and break it in for a day or two without the cushion in there, just to soften up the leather, to push down the hard bed that's inside there, to kind of get that formed to the shape of the foot, to the heel, to the ball. Just so when you start using this boot for work purposes, you've already got it pretty much well established and broken in to the shape of your foot. Just like the steel toe, the boot comes with a steel shank, so you know you're going to be able to climb with this thing. Carolina covers a lot of sizes on this boot. They start at 8 and they go all the way up to 14. They make it in a D width and a double E width, so that pretty much gets everybody covered. Now, if you go to pull a pair of these off the wall, the thing you're going to notice is the weight. This is not the lightest boot out there. But if you're a logger guy, if you're somebody who's already worn loggers for several years, I think you're going to understand why a boot like this needs to be heavy. Because if you're buying this for the purpose that it's intended for working with chainsaws, for working in forestry, then you're going to know that you can depend on this boot. So that's the Carolina 7519 Insulated GORE-TEX line logger. If you've ever worn Carolina loggers before, please comment below. Let guys know about the break-in time, which model you wore. If you were happy, if you were unhappy, please, we all really appreciate the feedback that we're getting from you guys. Please don't forget to stop by my site and check out more information on this Carolina boot and all the other Carolina boots I have reviewed, plus a history of the company. Also, don't forget to hit my subscribe button below. It really helps out. And if you should have any boot questions about this logger boot or about just logger boots in general, please feel free to email me, pick my brain, see what I gotta say about your next purchase or about an issue you're having about trying to get a pair of these to fit properly or break in properly. So until the next time, I'm the Boot Guy. Thanks a lot for watching.